you've got the number one on your hat again, and you're going for title number 3, which in F1 history terms is a kind of a bracket. You know, some of the great names, looking at Brabham, Jackie Stewart, Ayrton Senna, Nelson Piquet as well, I guess, all had those triple titles. Is it a special number for you? I mean, will you be talking to Nelson a little bit about that if you match it?
Well, my favorite number is, of course, number 3. So, of course, I mean, you always try to go for it, but I don't know if we're going to be good enough. Of course, as a team, we believe we are. We are very motivated. We come off the back of a very strong year, and we are working flat out, to try and achieve that. Everyone back at the factory the whole winter was working flat out, and once I came back from my holiday, I was also working flat out to try and be in the best shape possible. And once you get back into the car, you know that it's go time and you have to deliver. So slowly, of course, now the last 3 weeks you get back into things and being excited again, to race.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of handicap sport nowadays. You win the championship, you lose some wind tunnel time. You've lost an extra little bit of wind tunnel time because of the minor breach in the cost cap. Also, the rules were changed a little bit, maybe to bring you back to the pack, whether it was or not. How much is that a concern when you speak to Adrian Newey, Christian, the rest of the team?
I mean, of course, it's not ideal, but I think as a team, we have a lot of good people. We have a lot of experience in the team, and everyone also believes in themselves that, even, of course, with that, you can still extract a lot. And maybe it works as a kind of a motivation as well. You don't know. I mean, if someone was trying to hold me back, and they will basically reduce like my kind of workouts or training time or whatever, maybe you work even harder in the available space you have, right? So it can actually have maybe the reverse effect, but of course only time will tell.
Okay, fair enough. There you are, champion, I suppose your own generation. Charles Leclerc is trying to win his first. George Russell emerged last year. If everything's equal, we don't know how good the cars are, but in pure driving terms, is Lewis Hamilton still very much in that mix, as dangerous a threat to you as those others?
Of course he is. I mean, he's been one of the greatest drivers ever in the sport. So for sure, if he has the car to do it, he can fight for the title again. But that's the same for George and the same for Charles. It's the same for Lando. If you give them a car which is capable of winning a championship, they can. But it's also about when you have the car, then the pressure comes. You cannot afford mistakes, or at least you cannot afford big mistakes. And that's a little bit of a different pressure you have, but I'm confident that once these guys they get into a role like that, it is all possible. I mean, they all have the talent to do so.
Yeah, fair enough. Listen, you're 25. I was thinking when I was 25, nobody cared about what I said. I could live my life completely carefree. What's it like for you? Do you have to think a little bit about how you speak? Everything's going to be picked up upon and taken down. What's that like to live with? 2 years as champion now, and that's kind of the way you've got to go.
Yeah, for sure. You have to think a bit more about what you say. You cannot say everything you want, but that's also something you grow into, right? I mean, once I got into Formula One, you knew that was not possible. You have to be a bit more careful, and you're representing a lot of big brands as well, but of course, sometimes when you get emotional, you say things. We are, at the end of the day, still, performance athletes, and once the adrenaline is high, of course, things can come out. But also sometimes you learn from these moments. But at the end of the day, if you would put a mic on anyone in sports, they say things even while playing or whatever. And I think you have to also appreciate that. Of course, you cannot say everything you want, right? But over time, I think also with experience, you grow in that aspect as well.
Yeah, because I asked Valtteri Bottas the other day about this FIA directive about political statements. You're not particularly political in what you say, but most of the drivers are sensible guys. I mean, was it really necessary, do you think, to bring that into the rule book?
I think personally, everyone is different. Some people are more outspoken than others. I'm normally not that outspoken of that, because first of all, it's tough as a racing driver to be fully committed to that as well, in terms of going into everything and making sure that you know all the facts, right? But I don't think it is necessary, because in a way, you are basically making sure that people are not allowed to speak anymore, which I think, we should be allowed. And of course, like I said before, some people will speak a bit more, some not, but it was probably a bit unnecessary,
Yeah, fair enough. Just a couple to finish, and kind of on that topic. I mean, you're the world champion. You may be aware that there seems to be a little bit of public discord between the FIA and F1. They're running this sport. Is it a concern for you that that needs to get sorted out? Because the sport needs them both to be working in the same direction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always think that that is very important, and I'm sure, of course, they are talking, and I'm sure they also want to have a good relationship, you know. And yeah, let's hope, of course, that will be resolved soon.
Yeah. And one last thing, Ford, and it's a big thing, Ford coming in. Now, you had to take a decision about committing your future to Red Bull, but they have consistently given you the tools now to do what you want to do. And is this another sign that you really did make the right choice?
Yeah, I mean, I signed basically twice without actually fully knowing what, of course, was coming in terms of engines. And people said maybe that's a bit of a crazy thing to do, but I believed in the project, and I believed, of course, that everyone involved, they would always make the right decision for the team. I think the first one they made, of course, going with Honda, I think that worked out really well. And now for the future, of course, is the next step with Ford in 2026, and I believe in it. I believe in the team, and if we believe in the team, and we all work together, I'm sure that yeah, we can create something really cool.
You're going to be hard to catch this year, I sense.
I don't know. I don't even think about it too much. It's more important that we focus on the car and make it quick.